What's good, everyone? This is your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at. So we're going to go to Chicago here because, listen, look, slowly but surely, the National Guard is being deployed in Chicago and stuff like that. Whether, saying people like it or not, I guarantee you there are certain citizens that actually, like the fact that they're trying to clean up the city, just like going on in Memphis and what happened in Washington, D.C.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
It is what it is. Not everybody's liking this crime, but you know what I'm saying? It seems to me that, Illinois collectively, and, I don't, how the rest of the state's doing, but particularly Chicago here, it seems like the governor and the mayor of Chicago are just having this camaraderie situation to where they actually do not seem like they don't want to stop crime. But it's not that they don't want to stop crime, but the thing of this is that the way things are going down, they can't protect the illegals that they have in their city. I mean, So we're going to go here now, and we're going to check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Without my permission and against my vigorous objections, the president has federalized 300 Illinois National Guard military troops and hundreds of National Guard members from Texas, and he has ordered them to activate for duty in Illinois. I have called upon Governor Abbott to immediately withdraw his support for this decision and refuse to allow Texas National Guard members to be used in this way. Let me be clear. Donald Trump is using our service members as political props and as pawns in his illegal effort to militarize our nation's cities. I want to thank Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his staff, along with my general counsel, Ann Spillane, and our excellent governor's office legal team for working tirelessly for weeks now to prepare federal lawsuits in anticipation of this unconstitutional invasion of Illinois by the federal government. For weeks now, Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, and Gregory Bovino have brought their militarized CBP and ICE agents to the streets of Chicago to cause violence and chaos in this city.
How were they causing violence and chaos in the city when the violence and chaos was already there? It's the delusion for me. And that these people are sitting around here trying to, talk out the side of their neck to the public on these networks here, but the actual citizens of Chicago are saying something different. Now, of course, not all, because everybody, it is not wanting crime to, go away in their city. Some people actually like the crime, and some people are capitalizing off the crime. So, I mean, that goes counterintuitive to actually stopping crime. But this is the thing here, when you have, your major, your leaders of your community, your state, city, stuff like that are just, willing to not want to get rid of the crime. It's a huge issue.
They need to stop inciting our city's residents. Since the beginning of this invasion, families have been snatched up off the streets or removed from their homes, zip-tied and detained for hours, including especially U.S. citizens and legal residents of our state. And in the words of CBP Chief Patrol Agent Greg Bovino, they're being chosen by how they look. Peaceful protesters have been hit with tear gas and shot with rubber bullets. Journalists simply reporting the facts on the ground have
peaceful protest when you got women out here running over ICE enforcements with cars. Okay.
Been targeted and arrested. U.S. citizens, including children, have been traumatized and detained. This escalation of violence is targeted and intentional and premeditated. The Trump administration is following a playbook: cause chaos, create fear and confusion, make it seem like peaceful protesters are a mob by firing gas pellets and tear gas canisters at them. Why? To create the pretext for invoking the Insurrection Act so that he can send military troops to our city. He wants to justify and normalize the presence of armed soldiers under his direct command.
This is crazy. So you mean it's a conspiracy to clean up the crime? It's a conspiracy to sit around here that he's going to, command people to shoot tear gas and all this other type of stuff to create an insurrection. And, it's all a conspiracy, right? I mean, it's just all a conspiracy. When we know for facts that Chicago is a crime-ridden city, Chicago has, and I've said this in other broadcasts, Chicago has always been a gangster town. And you could look at Chicago's history period from Al Capone all the way back. Listen, look, it's always been a gangster town. But back then, at least they had some order and structure. Nowadays, there's no order and structure in that city, and these cowboys are out there in that city just terrorizing normal people, children, and stuff like that. And see, the thing of this is when they're going there and they're trying to find the illegals that are here, the gang members and stuff like that, of other cultures, outside of America that are here illegally. And yeah, what happened? We have to think about this. What happened when they allowed all these illegals to come over here and stuff like that? They put them in black neighborhoods. So now it's going to be an issue. Now everybody want to talk about race. Now everybody want to talk about profiling black people and black communities and stuff like that. When these people put these individuals in their communities, they didn't carry them out to the white communities. They didn't carry them to the Asian communities, the Indians, the Arabs. They didn't carry them to these other communities and drop them off in there in mass. They took them to the black communities, which they thought was the poorest communities, because at the end of the day, yeah, black people have a little struggle that's going on, but black people don't want to live next to the criminals either.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
I don't give a fuck if black people are not, that particular community is not the best community, but black folks don't want to live next to those individuals either. Definitely, and you giving these people government assistance and things like that to be able to, live like this. This is ridiculous here. This is ridiculous. So we're going to keep going because there's always more. And it's wild out here that these people are not, listening to their constituents, because that's what's going on here. I'm hearing people from Chicago saying that they want, the National Guard to come in and other law enforcement to come in and help the law enforcement there to clean up things. But what I'm saying, it's crazy out here. It's no telling. Even some of the Chicago law enforcement may actually be against this, and I wonder why. Like I said, Chicago always been a gangster town. Take it how you wanna, but Chicago always been a gangster town, and that means gangster shit. Let's keep going.
Here today to talk about the events that have transpired over the past week. The past week revealed the true face of the administration's immigration enforcement in our city, and the entire world was able to witness that. On Tuesday, federal immigration agents raided an apartment building in the South Shore community in the middle of the night. This building was managed by a slumlord that people have all been clear about. The city actually sued the...
What does that mean that the people have been clear about? What does that mean? So he's not going to elaborate on that?
This building was managed by a slumlord that people have all been clear about.
So, and shout out to Anton Daniels. But before he goes on, did you hear what was said by the mayor of Chicago? that particular building, we're talking about the building that was raided here that, you know what I'm saying, went viral. You know what I'm saying, where they arrested all those Trinidad Laguerre gang members, and also, you know, detained a few people that were actually American citizens that did live in the building. Like I said previously, when there's a raid going on, they're not going to stop and take the time to ask each individual person, well, are you a part of Trinidad Laguerre? Are you this and that? If they're raiding a property, they're going to raid the property and detain everybody until they figure out what the fuck is going on.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Those officers are not going to endanger their lives, and then at the same time too have the lives of innocent people that could possibly be there have their lives taken either. We gotta blame the administration for allowing these type of individuals to because they put them in the black community. We have to understand this. They put Trinidad Laguerre in that building. They put these people there. And now on the flip side, they want to sit here and be like, oh no, they're attacking black people. No, they're not attacking black people. They're not attacking black American citizens. They're attacking the people that you people deliberately put in the black community to cause all this confusion. This is ridiculous, but it is what it is, though. He wants to talk out the side of his neck. This is crazy right here. This is crazy. How in the hell are you going to sit there and say that this building is ran by a slumlord? We know what slumlords are. That means that they don't take care of their business. They don't keep up their properties. They don't do the right things that they need to do to actually gain the rent from said renters. A slumlord is a huge disappointment. And that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, they actually put these illegals in those areas, because they was already dealing with slumlord issues and stuff like that, and dealing with poverty and strife. This is crazy out here. And Brandon Johnson sitting around here talking out the side of his fucking neck.
The city actually sued the owner in February over 15 building code violations.
Damn.
The residents were dealing with deplorable conditions already, and this was before ICE trampled on them.
So ICE trampled on them when they was already living with a fucking slumlord that didn't give a fuck about them. And I guarantee you he was capitalizing off their rent, stuff like that. The city knew this. The city knew this.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
The city knew he was a fucking slumlord. Even Brandon Johnson, crooked ass, had to say that, you know, they reported this dude, you know what I'm saying, being having these people living in unhealthy conditions. That's what a slumlord is, has this building living in unhealthy conditions. Man, this is crazy out here, man. Y'all keep believing these bastards right here, you know what I'm saying, talking out the side of their necks. This is wild out here.
But when they came in the middle of the night, they terrorized the families that were living there.
They terrorized the families that were living there. They were already being terrorized by fucking slumlord.
Children who were without clothing, they were zip tied, taken outside at 3 o'clock in the morning. A senior resident, an American citizen with no warrants, was taken outside and handcuffed for 3 hours. Doors were blown off their hinges, walls were broken through. Immigration agents coming from Black Hawk helicopters to set up snipers on nearby buildings. This is America.
Good. It's the one that you created, because we're not going to just skip past the whole idea that these people, and when I say these people, I'm speaking about him and all of his people that's sitting behind him. These people, Brandon Johnson and his whole group of friends right here, they are the ones that created this mess. Guess what? They have known for years that these deplorable conditions existed.
Right.
But guess what they did? They dropped them right on off into the hood for them to be able to run roughshod over the community, and nobody did anything about it until the Trump administration came in and arrested 37 gang members and got them up out of here so that the black community can have their opportunities back inside of their properties. What they not really telling you is that so many people profited off of this whole migrant crisis and they played along, and they've created a crisis that now the Trump administration has to fix in these underserved communities that they've been petitioning for you to solve for years. They petitioned for Lori Lightfoot. They petitioning for him. They've been asking these people to get on board and fixing the community. And you know what they did? They spit in your face. They put more migrants in front of you. And now they're going to exaggerate stories. They're going to continue to underreport crime. They're going to do all of the things that they need to do to keep you on a Democrat plantation instead of taking accountability and responsibility for what it is that they've created. Amazing.
And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Anton spoke on a huge situation here. And these people, you know what I'm saying, in these positions in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, have been doing this for years. Like you said, they already, even Brandon Johnson technically admitted that they already knew that that building was ran by a slumlord. They already knew. He admitted the shit. Listen to what he said. They already knew years before they even, the illegals even arrived at that building should have been condemned. And that landlord should have been brought to justice for slumlord conditions. Come on, man. And then this man want to sit around here and keep playing on everybody's psyche like this shit is real. Oh my goodness, this is an injustice. Now all of a sudden you care about the black community, you know what I'm saying, with the getting pulled out of their homes and stuff like that because a raid is going on in that particular building and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden you care when you strategically place those bats up in there, you know what I'm saying, in order for them to thrive there and create more chaos in that community. You crazy.
One resident described the situation plainly, and I quote, "They had immigrants in one van and black people in another van."
Oh my God.
This raid wasn't about public safety. It was about and it's certainly not about immigration.
Oh, it's not.
This was about a show of authoritarianism.
Really? What about when they reached out to you in the very beginning of his administration and asked to work with you and the governor on making sure that they get the right people outside of the United States of America and deporting the illegal migrants that you spent hundreds of millions of dollars on inside of your city, and you rejected them flatly?
It combines the benefits of attack surface management.
I definitely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. You know, that's just the fucking truth.
Basically, they're harboring fugitives.
A forceful display of tyranny. They sent a clear message to all Chicagoans. They said, "We do not respect your rights. We can do anything we want and we will film it and put it on social media."
Excuse me, Brandon Johnson. You don't respect your citizens' rights. Y'all been doing anything y'all want to do. You've been placing these illegals strategically in the black community of Chicago. And then now that shit is hitting the fan, things about to be cleared up. Trump is putting all these entities in place to make sure that the rightful American people, the rightful born American citizens, I'm gonna say it again, the rightful born American citizens
What the French toast is there to think about?
have the lead way around here. Regardless of everybody's status, whether the poor, middle class, whatever, if you're born in America, this is us. And these born American citizens are going against us. And we have no business having their back. Brandon Johnson needs to sit his fo-eyed ass down. JB Pritzker need to carry his salami eating ass somewhere else.
What the French toast is there to think about?
Lose some weight, Pritzker. You look like you about to die from a fucking heart attack. This is crazy. And these people are talking clearly out the side of their necks. And this is hurtful. to the disrespect of the people that they've allowed these immigrants, these illegals, to come in their communities. Now they want to talk out the side of their neck about black people getting raided and stuff like that. Man, come on, bro.
The very next day, ICE agents chased people outside of a homeless shelter on the south side and then caused a car accident on the west side. Immigration agents put a young black man in a chokehold on the side of the street.
He has
East
to
Garfield
be
Park.
the worst mayor
Witnesses,
in America.
one of which you will hear from this morning, bravely filmed the interaction, eventually leading to this person's release. On Friday, agents dispersed tear gas in the middle of a busy city street. Chicagoans were hit with chemical agents while walking their children home from school.
Interesting. You mean the violent protesters that continue to put their hands on Chicago ICE agents while, and there is, listen, I can't wait for the Millionaire Morning Show in the morning because I'm going to expose all of this. There are phone calls that was being made for the Chicago police to stand down from being able to assist people. I'm going to let this play out, y'all. I want y'all to get the whole thing.
A couple ran from tear gas with a 2-year-old child in their care. Agents went into the Humboldt Park Health Center and detained a sitting elected official, Alder Jessie Fuentes of the 26th Ward, because she simply requested to see a warrant. Well, Saturday, they escalated even further by shooting a U.S. citizen. They claimed it was defensive fire. But frankly, we cannot trust anything that comes out of the administration. It was only a few short weeks ago that they claimed officers were severely injured in the killing of Mr. Villegas Gonzalez in Franklin Park. A Sun-Times investigation found that the agent said on a body camera footage that it was, in fact, nothing major. We have a rogue, reckless group of heavily armed mass individuals roaming throughout our city that are not accountable to the people of Chicago. Their actions put all Chicagoans at risk. When protesters confronted federal immigration agents in Brighton Park on Saturday, they were met with pepper balls and more repression. CPD responded to attempt to de-escalate the situation, and ICE tear gassed our police officers. Let me be clear. Tear gassing.
So you mean did he just? So you mean to tell me ICE tear gassed police officer? Technically, ICE tear gassed their own comrades.
The women and men who serve as Chicago Police Department officers is not how we make our city safer. I'm calling for a full investigation into this incident and into all of the brutality that we have seen over the past week. They are taking police resources that should be in our neighborhoods, serving Chicagoans, and diverting them to deal with the chaos that they are causing. We need ICE out of our city so that we can continue to focus on the strategies that have been working to drive violent crime down.
No, we need
These
more
actions
ICE
tell us
officers.
Simple truth.
All day long.
If we allow this administration
National
to
Guard,
take away
ICE
due
every day.
process
They're
for
all day.
anyone, we will allow them to take away due process for everyone. They told us that this was about the work.
There is no due process for an illegal migrant in this country.
Listen, look, I've heard enough, but shout out to brother Anton Daniels. You know what I'm saying? He's all, he does a great job. But listen, look, man, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. And we have and they have a delusional government in Illinois right now. This is ridiculous. They're going to sit there and accept these people into the sanctuary city. We also have to remember when the governor of Texas was sued for, trying to stop the border from being open. So he said, okay, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sanctuary cities want these people. He started busting them there. Remember this. And he bust plenty of people to New York, Chicago, all these sanctuary places, stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? Now this is where they're at. You know what I'm saying? definitely Chicago, they spent billions of dollars trying to, you know what I'm saying, accommodate these illegals and stuff like that when their own natural born American citizens were still out there starving, dealing with fucking slumlords out here, dealing with all types of crazy stuff. We have to start understanding that we need to hold these people accountable. I don't give a fuck what part of America it is. If the government is screwing up and things like that, or the people that's supposed to be in charge are talking out the side of their necks, it's up to the people to actually distinguish the bullshit from the reality. And this is bullshit that these people that Brandon Johnson and Pritzker is doing. This is crazy. And they've endangered, you know what I'm saying, the black people in Chicago and stuff like that by allowing these immigrants, these illegals, to come into their city, and they knew what was going to happen. I'm not stupid, and I'm not finna allow anybody to tell me anything different. I'm not finna allow the fact that I think that Brandon Johnson and Pritzker are stupid people and they just did this off, you know, oh, well, we just trying to protect humanity and all this type of dumbass shit. No, they strategically put them people, them illegals that came into their city, sanctuary city, you know what I'm saying, 3-4 years ago. They strategically put them in black communities and stuff like that, knowing that the outcome will probably be different. Yeah, they did that. But now they weren't depending on the fact that the regime was going to change and they was going to clear all this shit up, and them people weren't going to keep making all this money that the government at that time was giving their ass to protect these illegals and put them on a high pedestal over American citizens. This is crazy.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
It's crazy. Yeah. Now they talking out the side of their neck and they feelings fucking hurt because their pockets is low. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.